I'm Yusuf Bin-Rella, a chef, a farmer, and an advocate. This is a layered onion. I was thinking in terms of the zodiac, specifically the Chinese zodiac, and I believe it's the year of the snake this year. And I was like, how cool would it be to have like a zodiac of vegetables? And like this is the year of the collard, the year of the corn, the year of the okra, and then have, like people like I was born the year of the collard, or the year of the snake, whatever you're choosing, right?
Yeah.
Like just to make a new zodiac and to try something new. We've had several events. Our first Collard Fest was in February 1st of this year for launching off Black History Month on a good note and on a solid note. And our goal was we had like 50 tickets or 50 something seats available, and to make it free. And it sold out incredibly quickly. And they were like, hey, let's do another one. That went really well. How about we launch Summer Breeze with a Collard Festival? And so then we did that in July, and it was a hit. They said that it was their highest attended event of the year so far, and that they normally get people to sign up on the email lists, but they were able to get hundreds, like more than 100, and I think more than 200 even, but hundreds of new people that had never been there, interacted with Old Brick. And that was one of the goals too, because it's a city park. Let's let everyone know that this is a space for them, because there's like a membership aspect of it. I think some people think it's like a private club or organization, but no, there's a lot of free events throughout the year, educational opportunities. And Missy and Aaron's their brilliant farmer at Old Brick. Missy's, I think, outreach coordinator or events coordinator for Old Brick. They were excited to continue to grow collards, but definitely still partnering with those folks. We got some collard education. I think the Madison community is a little bit more familiar with collards. We actually, at Old Brick, in their school teaching garden, had free collards that people could pick. So I was introduced to collards at a very early age. There's always several types of collards going on. There was one with turkey neck and one with ham hock, just because there's a lot of Muslims in my family. And but my grandmother, she's Baptist. She has the ham hock. She insists on it. Otherwise, like some of the pork products got put out on the porch. Literally like set out on the porch, not in the house. But my grandma loved pork, so like we got that. But so, okay, approachability. You take your collards. I can talk about it in a couple different ways. So approaching it from a culinary perspective, look at your collards as a type of, it's a brassica. So it's related to cabbage, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, in that family. Similar, but different flavor profiles that run through that family. And in the greens, like the kale and collards, you get a little bitterness. So cooking them for a long time helps break down that bitterness. Adding a little bit of meat, smoked meat, traditionally. If you like kale, collards are a wonderful counterpart to kale. It increases your nutrient spectrum because they're both high in different nutrients. Helps season the collards and create a nutritious broth, more nutrient dense broth called pot liquor, which is, like just as good as the collards. To me, like eating the collards and drinking the pot liquor. And that's a thing that, historically for us, collards were survival food, comfort food, it's not a holiday or celebration without them. So it's just something that's resilient, grows heartily. If you have a couple collards planted, you have a couple to give to your neighbor. Anything that you would do with kale, if you use it in a saute or a stir fry, try it with a little bit of collards. If you get super big leaves, just pull the stem out, roll them up, and then do a chiffonade cut on those and cut them into strips. Or sometimes people just tear them. But then the stems are very nutrient dense as well. You can chop those up and saute them with your onions before you add your collards to the pot, and it'll soften them up, but also so nothing's going to waste. I think champion, but old-timey blue. I would do old-timey blue just because it's really beautiful to look at, because it's got these really subtle, almost indigo or violet ribs running through it. And it just seems like an interesting juxtaposition, because you typically don't see purple or blue foliage. And then it's still green too, so it's like blue and green. It's really pretty. I know that for a fact that collard greens are one of the foods that can help us with depression, with early onset dementia. And then you get varieties like old-timey blue that are more anthocyanin rich, which are the nutrients in the purple nutrients in food, like blueberries and stuff, that are called superfoods. But anthocyanins are widely reputed and well known to help prevent dementia. And especially for people in my community that we have the highest incidence of dementia, and we see it at earlier ages than any other groups of folks. The biggest change, and one of my favorite things to see, is how many young Black farmers are coming up and doing it. We don't own land yet, but we're finding space to grow, and everyone's growing collards. So you got, those are little pockets of nutritional resistance. It's like, hey, if, I have a bad year, we got other friends, that can help, and it's been, I think, collards can serve as a shield for the things that come at you in life, whether it be health, or other strife. Collards, have been very grounding for me, getting out in the field, looking at my beautiful plants and seeing them go from a seedling to a pot. That's a sort of freedom where, we don't have to own the land, and do we really ever, right? But just seeing so many folks with the creativity to find space and the resilience to keep doing it. I'd really like to see, already there's a lot of entrepreneurial spirit, but I'd like to see people making some value-added products, and beyond just like a limited run batch, which is hard to do, right? Because it takes a lot of space and land to have. But to see folks with value-added products, agriculture is really tough work. It's kind of, I'm not going to go too deep into it now, but, a lot of farmers are rich people, rich in land, rich in millions of dollars of government subsidies over decades and generations. So to try to compete with that sort of thing, I think, depending on how much time you have, because we only really get 50 springs to learn this stuff. Let's say that, once you're 18 and can make decisions for yourself, how many, if you're lucky, you get about 50 springs after that, right? To learn agriculture. Depending on how much time you have and an opportunity, I'd like to see, if we have a ton of land, but we don't have like a processing facility to turn those excesses, or abundances into something that's shelf stable that can continue to feed, and generate revenue while you're sleeping, to help, get that balance of work, life, a little bit of passive income. One that I've been dreaming of for a while is a product line with the name calling it black packing food. I love the outdoors. I love backpacking. When I was a little kid, freeze-dried meals were so strange to me that I really loved like that beef stroganoff from Mountain House or whatever, for whatever reason. Because you only had it like once a year at camp. It was like second day on the canoe trip, you're hungry as heck. And then but anyways, black packing food would be making freeze-dried prepared meals. So collard greens with smoked ham hock, freeze-dried, you pour in a cup of hot water and all of a sudden you've got a little pot of beautiful stew with some nutrient-rich broth. But beyond like putting it on a shelf at REI, having also that sort of product available for food pantries, because food pantries kind of build in their usefulness by not, they're not giving a bunch of freeze-dried stuff away, or like, they kind of keep you coming back. They have to stay relevant, stay open, right? And that's probably the wrong way to phrase that, but I just think that using freeze drying, canning, and preserving, having a good understanding of that is necessary as a person growing, and using modern technology two things. Black packing food's one product, and then another unique product that I think would be awesome is to do pure vegetable purees. Now, they already kind of have this, but hear me out. Pure vegetable purees. So let's say a collard green puree or a butternut squash puree that can be a baby food, that can also be, in addition to a soup, can also feed elderly. So like a multi-purpose vegetable products that are canned that can feed the spectrum, and then also be just like, oh, I'm making I take this puree and add a cup of cream or some coconut milk and I've got a little soup base, right? Mm-hmm. Or to enrich other meals. I think that Madison community has been very open and welcoming. In a strange way, Madison operates on 4-year cycles. So you get undergraduates in, they get interested in these projects. By the time they're a sophomore, junior, they're helping out and leading projects, but then they leave and there's not always like a succession, because it's sometimes just people's motivation and inspiration. So I feel like every 4 years there's kind of like a reset, but it's like every year because, obviously there's different people graduate every year. But I've just seen a lot of projects come and go with undergraduates, right? Which they take the projects elsewhere too. People move away or they go to grad school and they still take those ideas. And so I think that Madison's been incredibly receptive, and that as a community, we've got a ways to go. It's like I grew up here, so it's like a lot of the food issues that we see today are still the same. And ultimately, more events like Collard Fest to bring people out, to get people excited. If they're able and have the means, share a meal this year with someone else. Because if each person just did that once, I think that's 300,000 meals. I'm going to learn how to take care of myself in the most selfish way, because I think selfish people actually do more for the community than... Now, there's probably a spectrum of selfishness, right? But I think that and a small tribe. The dude that was out there trying to get those animals all the time. I got to get this. I got to get this guy. I need this. Fed the community more, maybe, right? So I'm in a film called Kosher Soul, and that's where Jews and Gentiles got together last year in Los Angeles with Michael Twitty, our fearless leader in so many ways. And we did a historic meal in South Central Los Angeles. And it was just about food. It was just not about politics. It was about how we as a people solve problems, and that's by getting together over a table, over food, and talking through. And it's more than that, but that's what it was for me. But so yeah, it's called Kosher Soul, and it's in the Series Film Festival in New York next week. Yeah. So yeah, I'm super proud of that. I just want to promote. I want to do a couple more wellness retreats. I want to give a shout out to Color in the Outdoors. They're doing a lot of incredible work. Chris Kilgore out on his farm, and next year we'll be hosting a farm to table dinner on August 16th. At Future Fruit Farm in Spring Green, or near Spring Green, and that is an apple and pear orchard with 6,000 fruit trees, and run by the unbelievably talented Selena Warsaw Lane. She has a ice cream gelato shop in Spring Green called The Frozen Local, and that's her family farm. So we're gonna do some farm support. I'm Yusuf Bin-Rella. I'm a chef, a farmer, and an advocate, and this has been The Layered Onion.